and dive into the Kansas Jayhawks and look at some of their top prospects.
Well, firstly, I think, and this is something we've talked about a few times when we've talked about certain teams like Kansas this year, Nebraska. They've done a great job of building their roster with solid workman-like guys. They're not loaded with day one or day two seniors, but they have a lot of seniors who have been there a while. They bought into the system and helped make that a good team. I think that's a big part of what has allowed Lance to do such a great job there. I think it seems like Jalen Daniels seems like one of those guys that we think we've been watching for 10 years. I mean, he burst on the scene, exploded, looked like a superstar. Then he missed a year due to injury, and the Jason Bean came in and replaced him for a year. And then Daniels has come back. And I love Daniels when I watch him play. I love the energy. I love his ability to make plays with his feet. I just really question if he has the tools to throw the ball well enough. When you watched him against Missouri, there were 2 or 3 plays early where he could have ended the game. He missed deep throws that were gimmies. I mean, gimmies. Remember, this is from an out-of-shape old man who couldn't throw the ball 5 yards accurately. So I'm not saying a gimme for your average person, but I'm saying that for an NFL quarterback, those are gimmies. And he missed easy throws. It makes me concerned. Can he be accurate enough to make it in the NFL? I do think he's going to get a chance at the next level because his character and intangibles are so tremendous. He's an athlete with a big arm that maybe he's that guy that you're second or third on game day. The guy who can come in, do some unique things, and if things went sideways with an injury, he could get you out of a game because he's so smart and so reliable as a person that he's not going to make mistakes. Their offensive line, I mean, they're full of tough, hard-nosed guys, probably all going to be PFAs. Maybe 1 or 2 gets a chance as a 7th rounder, but you have Bryce Foster, the center, 6'4" and change, 312, 31-inch arms. Kobe Barnes, big kid, 6'3" and change, 317, almost 33-inch arms. He's probably the best lineman they have. Then you have Enrique Cruz, sort of came out of nowhere this year. Wasn't a projected starter, 6'6", 320. Been a real solid guy for him. I think all 3 of these guys are probably guys that are going to be free agents. Chance somebody gets into that 7th round area. They have 2 good senior running backs. Hinshaw has been sort of the guy that gets all the attention, but LaShawn Williams, another one. And these guys are similar, both 5'10" and change, 215, 220. I like Hinshaw a little more. I think he's a little bit more dynamic, a little bit more a guy that makes it big, makes that big play when he has to. Both these guys probably are going to be late round picks, would be my guess. I don't think either one of these guys is going to be an early guy. Their 2 receivers, Henderson, and I like the Levi Wentz kid. I think he's a guy that's a little underrated. I think he's going to test better than we think. He's a big kid at 6'2", 202. I think he's going to test. I think he might run in the high 4.4s. And I think if he does, he's going to squeeze into day 3 of the draft. Defensively, they are loaded. A lot of really good players. Not many that are going to be very high picks, but it all starts, we've talked about him before, Dean Miller. Long kid, a little trim for a defensive end at probably 225, 235. But this is a kid at 6'5", knows how to get to the quarterback, plays with an edge. I think he's a guy day 3 people are going to look at. The rest of their D-line, Justin Finkley, defensive end, about 6'1" and change, 250. Their defensive tackles, DJ Withers and Tommy Dunn, hard-nosed competitive guys. I think they're all in that priority free agent, undrafted free agent range. I don't think it's likely that they're going to get drafted. I think they're more of, we've been really good college players. Do we have enough to make the jump? Kamara is a guy that I think is more on the radar of getting drafted. He's a good football player. He has speed as a linebacker to make plays from sideline to sideline. Additionally, I think their corner, DJ Graham, doesn't get a lot of publicity, but he's had a better year than I think people anticipated. This kid, although he's not huge, at 5'11 plus, 200 pounds, he's got enough size and NFL teams will be excited about him. And I think he's moved from an undrafted guy to a late round consideration this year. And the other kid I like, he just plays the game the way I like it, is Lyric Rawls, the safety. When you watch this kid play, he's around the ball. He seems to have just that sort of air of, I'm going to make the play. Don't worry, guys. I'm going to take care of things. We're all good. And I just like the way this kid plays. There's something about him. I could see him being an undrafted guy that maybe gets a $2,000 signing bonus and isn't even highly thought of, comes into camp, balls out on teams, and makes it a 4th safety, maybe even a practice squad guy, but has a role on teams. I don't think he's ever going to be that guy you plug in and say he's our starting safety. But there's something about this kid when I watch him play. I think he's going to be a hard guy to cut.
It's all about the upside, and that's what we try to look for, especially in those later rounds or undrafted free agency, the 8th round, we like to call it. And, to me, Dean Miller is all about the upside because, the production might not be there in the stat box, but when you get a hold of this guy and you get to mold him, he's long, he's lean, he's athletic, he's got a high motor. He just needs to refine that technique. Again, you come into the league, you pack on some weight, refine some pass rush moves, and you hope you catch lightning in a bottle a year or two down the road, because this is a guy come pro day, he's going to jump through the gymnasium and test through the roof, and then you try to figure out how to incorporate all those physical traits and materialize it. And, to follow up on Jalen Daniels, because he is intriguing. I think he's got about 4 years of starting experience. He's just got he's a quarterback in a running back's frame. It's like, he's built like a running back. I wonder if that's his best bet moving forward to prolong his pro career. If not, I could certainly see him north of the border, where we'll be joined by a guest later on in the show today. Jalen Daniels could have superstar written all over him in the Canadian Football League.
Yeah, he's a really interesting guy when you look at guys in the CFL that have been successful. He's athletic. He's a leader. He's got a big arm, so he can make all the throws on the bigger field. There's something really intriguing about him. I think he's the guy that comes up there, spends a year or two on the PR. One of the things people don't seem to understand is, even though, yes, most Power 4 programs could compete with CFL teams on the field, a quarterback jumping up there, it is a huge challenge. It takes a year or two to adjust. But there's something there in this kid that I could see him being that third quarterback and really being able to make it an impact early as a third quarterback on game day, and then a year or two down the road, try to develop him.
Yeah, I've always been told, 3 years, kind of the golden rule for a quarterback to not only adapt and learn the rules, but adjust to them so that they're natural habitat. Like, they're not thinking about it. It is a little bit different. Of course, now they're changing the field dimensions and tweaking the rules. So there's going to be everybody with a learning curve. But PJ Walker of Calgary this year, perfect example, has NFL experience, was a stud in the XFL or Spring League, and then goes up to Canada. And basically, he stepped in for Vernon Adams when Adams went down to injury, but basically took a redshirt year to kind of adapt and adjust to the Canadian game.
Yeah, I mean, there's really only been the one guy that everybody always points to is Ricky Ray way back when, was the only guy that really came up and succeeded his first year. I mean, Anthony Calvillo, Hall of Famer, wasn't until his third team in the CFL that he became an elite quarterback. Vernon Adams bounced around to about 5 teams before he really became that guy. The adjustment to the bigger field, the 12 guys, the motion, all those things takes time. So I think that when you look at Dan, you just think, okay, are you willing to sit for 2 years? I mean, that's really what it comes down to. Are you willing to be on a PR for 2 years and see where things go?
All right. He's Russ Lande. I'm Rick Serritella. This is the All Access Football NFL Draft